Hi all, today I'm going to go through my field kit, QRP kit, however you want to do it, Parks Activation, Soda, Poda, Yoda, you name it. Do apologise for any wind noises in the background, and not from me, obviously from nature. I live over in Perth, Western Australia. We have a thing called the Freo Doctor, and it usually comes in around 11 o'clock during summer, depending. And it's in full swing this afternoon. It's sort of beginning of December, first week of December. So usually from now until about March, it gets a bit windy in the afternoon, and we do need it. I don't live very far away from the coast, and as I said, we do need it because it can get up to 40 plus in Perth fairly easily, and makes life uncomfortable. Okay, so I'm just going to go through what I use when I go, portable as such. I have a radio in the car. I'll do a video about that in future episodes. An IC 7000. You can obviously see the shadow. I've got the beam set up there, which was working really well. I got some good contacts last weekend on 20 metres, so I was really happy about the way that's performing. And I haven't even wound the tower up. That's down fairly low, and I couldn't be even happier with the twin or dual element beam and the rotatable dipole. Anyway, let's get back to what I do when I like to go away. We've got a caravan and a four-wheel drive, and we like to go up north or down south for the weekend or for school holidays or long weekends, or whatever it wants to be. And I like to take some stuff portable. I don't necessarily want to use the radio in the car. I like to set up, a dipole or a vertical or whatever it wants to be. Do something a bit different. It's always interesting to see how you get different results with different setups, and I'll just go through mine. So basically, down here, I've got my go bag, as they'd want to call it, and we'll just go through some of the products that I use, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so first of all, obviously I've got the lead for the battery. I run two batteries. There's a lithium battery there, which is what do we got here? A power, a PowerTech 12 amp, which works really well. I've used that a fair bit, and it's incredible how much power they actually have. Just a bit of the old dipole fell down. We'll go through that shortly. So what have I got here? So the rubber mallet, and rubber mallet there, we'll go through reasons why I've got the rubber mallet in a moment. I've got an end-fed antenna that I made at 32 feet. There's a 9-to-1 balun there for it. What else have I got? 2 lengths of coax, because I realised once that if you only take 1 length of coax and something funky happens, well, that's the end of your day. So I take 2 lengths of coax. I've got a joiner there as well, UHF connector, joiner, whatever you want to call it. So I always take 2 lengths of coax, and sometimes it's handy just to have that extra length of coax depending on where you want to set up. I'm not going to stress out about the loss in with the cable joiner. I'm not even worried about that. What else have I got here? Just a pair of side cutters, some insulation tape, a couple of lengths of tie-off rope, and they'll become apparent in a little while. A pen there, and I've got a what else have I got in here? Okay, then we'll go to the go bag. It's really good. I bought this off eBay. There's heaps of different types of go bags you can buy, or backpacks, or whatever you want to do. This one's got a lot of different pockets, fairly light. I think it only cost me about $25 Aussie delivered. So it was really lightweight, really well made, and you can cram a fair bit into these. It's got a lot of different pockets in here. I think that one in there's probably got a light of some sort, and on the back it's some nice straps, and really comfortable to actually to carry on your back. It's got, as I said, plenty of pockets. We've got a bit more spare cable coax down there as well. What have we got in there? Probably got an LED light, head torch, and so that's that part of it. Okay, so the radio. Let's go through and see what sort of radio. Now, you know, I've got a couple of radios that I can use for portable, but the radio I'm about to show you I like really well. What we got here, we got the Powerworks meter for voltage and amps and everything like that. They're really handy to have. I hooked that up in line. And here's my little Winkamp dipole. There's another torch there, always handy to have, just in case it gets dark on you early. So this is the one I've had a lot of success with. I've this little guy here, this Winkamp half-wave dipole, and what is it, from 40 through to 10 by memory. And I've actually tuned this up on 80 meters, and yeah, it's worked really well. I'll go through that one day. These are available online. It's got, obviously you can see the different settings there for different frequencies. I don't know if you can read that, probably a little bit too busy to read, but yeah, 1-to-1 Bellon, and really easy to use. You just hook it up, bingo, straight away. Usually takes me about 5 minutes to set this up, and I'm on the air. I'll put that to one side. What I've got here, I've got my little iPhone tripod thing here that I actually should be using now, but I'll just have that with me just in case. There's the Winkamp, that's for the two dipoles to sit in, and also the Bellon. Actually all gets in there, believe it or not. So I'll go through to the radio. So the radio I use for most of my park activations, or just portable work in a park, you know, oval, or wherever you want to be. You want to be down the beach, you want to be in the bush. Oh, there we go, sorry about that, in the bush as we call it over here in Australia, as is Aigu G90. I've done a couple of videos previously about how good this little radio works, and it is a cracker. It's SDR, it does 20 watts. I usually run it at about 10 to 15, and I couldn't be happier with it. This bag I bought from Xiegu as well. It's got a lot of different compartments, and in here I would say that I've got, yeah, there's the mic, the power leads, some more bits and pieces, earphones as well, which is quite handy, because it can, as I said, it can get windy here in Western Australia, all the way up and down the coast in summer, and yeah, those headphones are really handy to use. So here's my vertical, and I've had a lot of success with this. This is a JPC7 antenna, which is meant to be rip-off. Yeah, JPC12 written on there. Why wouldn't it be? Meant to be a bit of a Chinese copy of a PAC 7, I think it is by memory. Don't quote me. But I've set all this up, and it works absolutely fantastic. There's a tuning coil for it there, and yeah, it's got a couple of different settings that you buy, which are already preset, and really easy to put together. Telescopic element for the end. I'll do a separate video on all this setup and working. There's all the earth wires that were supplied with it, and I wasn't overly happy with the earth wires, so I actually made a whole heap more earth wires, and I think I've got about 16 radials now at varying lengths and everything like that. You can see the ones I made out of some 2mm stainless wire, and yeah, there's 3 different wires on each one, and yeah, it works really well. Probably important to get a good grounding on a vertical. A little bit noisy, obviously being a vertical, but that's part of it, I suppose. The dipole, as I showed previously, works really well, quiet as a mouse. And I've been in a place called Broome, which is about 2,600 k's north of where I live, and I've been on the beach on 40 meters and talked to I think I've got Paraguay, Alaska, also into Africa, and Europe on 20 watts, which was what the little Xiegu can do here. You've got to crank it up a bit. I'll go through the Xiegu a bit later. I've done a couple of, as I said, a couple of previous videos. The tuner on these things, bloody dynamite. As I said, that dipole's only resonant for 40, and it will tune up on 80 and work absolutely fantastic. They're a great little radio, the Xiegu G90. Okay, so that's the vertical I use. I've gone through all my bits and pieces as such. Here, over here I've got a squid pole, 7 metre. That's obviously my centre pole for the dipole, and I've got 2 uprights for each end of the dipole, and that works really well. I'm going to set this up in my backyard probably a bit later this afternoon. Hopefully, if it's not too windy, I'll do a video on it. And once again, I do apologise for any noise from the wind, as it gets a bit blowy. And okay, also, okay, so here's my solar panel. It's a 160 watt solar panel. It's got the charger on it, and what I usually do is hide the battery. Yes, a lithium battery with a normal everyday solar charger. I know people are going to be aghast about that, saying it's going to blow up, watch out. And I've been using this setup for a long time, and I haven't had any problem with it at all. Let's see if I can get it out here, see what it's doing. So we're charging at, sorry about the sunlight, I don't know if you can see that there, charging at, get it around there, charging at 13.8 volts, and I think the battery itself is just about fully charged now. This is a 20 amp LiFePO battery, and yeah, that'll run that little Zygo on standby for, I think I've had it on standby for like 12 hours, and probably give me 4 hours good talk time on 15, 10 watts depending. Now if I want to crank it up to 20 watts, but the battery lasts for ages. I'll go through it all, do some comparisons with the current draw for the Zygo. I've also got an Icon, what is it, a 718 that I use if I need to, for 100 watts. I'll take that with me, depending on, you know, I don't want to take everything except the kitchen sink with me, so to say. But sometimes, you know, you're going to need that extra power, and nothing worse than hearing all these stations and not getting back to them because you're virtually running QRP 20 watts or 10 watts. So that's basically my setup. So the solar panel works really well. One thing we don't suffer from in Western Australia is sunlight. I think Perth, where I live, is the second sunniest per city place in Australia. We get more sunlight than most capital cities, you know, the eastern states, and that's one of the reasons why we don't have daylight saving, because it doesn't get dark here till about 8 o'clock at night during summer. And you know, after 8 o'clock at night, you know, we've been through that with kids and everything, and curtains fading and all that nonsense. If it's still light at 9 o'clock at night, the kids just don't want to go to sleep. I'm sure everyone's been there and done that. Okay, so that's just my overview of my portable setup. What I'll do a separate video. Hopefully I'm going to hook this up this afternoon and see if I can make some contacts this evening on 80, 40 and 20. 10 metres is still fairly quiet, and so is 15 over here, plus the fact that I'm not going to cheat and hook it up to the beam or anything like that. I'm just going to run this in my backyard as I would do if I was running it in the field, in the bush, down the beach, whatever it wants to be. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. The next one about this will be me actually using the radio. Hopefully that'll be a bit later this evening for me, and I'll post that video up as soon as I can. Don't forget to hit thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Always interested in people's thoughts about radios and setups and everything like that. That's the great thing about the hobby. That's how we learn from one another. I don't know everything, and I'm always keen to learn. Okay, thanks for watching the video. 73s for now.